Imagine such an incredibly desperate and absurd scenario. You are a decisive and ruthless high-ranking Roman officer ordered to oversee an execution, watching with your own eyes as a condemned man breathes his last on the cross. You watch a spear pierce his side, then order your soldiers to seal his tomb with a massive stone and dispatch heavy guards to keep a strict watch. Yet just 3 days later, the tomb is empty and the body has vanished into thin air. To quell an impending uprising in the city, you begin a frantic manhunt for his accomplices until you kick open a hidden door, only to be horrified to find that the very Nazarene whose death you personally confirmed is sitting calmly in the room, his fatal wounds clearly visible. At that moment, the worldview you have firmly believed in your entire life spectacularly collapses. Today, the movie we are going to talk about, Risen, tells exactly such a deeply impactful story. Instead of praising miracles from the perspective of believers, it chooses the viewpoint of an extremely cold, ultra-rational Roman officer, leading us into a 2,000-year-long gaze of faith. This is not only a hardcore suspense investigation into a missing corpse, but also an epic of a skeptic whose soul is utterly torn apart and reshaped between brutal reality and endless miracles. The Judean desert, 33 AD. Swirling yellow sand filled the sky beneath a blazing fiery sun. As the military commander under Pilate, the Roman governor of the Judea province, Clavius's daily life consists of killing and suppression. The Roman Empire rules this wasteland with an iron fist, while the Jews bitterly pray to their one and only God, Yahweh, longing for the arrival of the mysterious Messiah to save them. To maintain this so-called peace, Clavius faces off against fanatical rebels across the land every single day.
Tribune, Pilate summons you.
To keep it filth.
No matter, there's more trouble.
Covered in blood and grime, before he even has time to wash himself, he is urgently summoned by Governor Pilate. Pilate appears overwhelmed, as Passover has arrived and all the zealots are gathering in Jerusalem. A man named Yeshua, originally from Nazareth, who claims to be the Messiah.
Screaming for his blood because he claims to be their Messiah. So the Sanhedrin decided to put him down.
I had to crucify him.
The task he hands to Clavius is simple: stabilize the situation, supervise the execution. Clavius hurries to the execution grounds with his young aide, Lucius. The sky suddenly turns gloomy. Where there was a blazing sun just moments ago, it is now as dark as doomsday, the earth trembling faintly, full of strange anomalies.
Centurion, how goes this?
A strange day, Tribune. But this king, something's wrong.
Yeshua endures prolonged torment on the cross, leaving only one final phrase, "It is finished," before breathing his last. To absolutely confirm the death, Clavius orders a soldier to pierce his side with a short spear. Here, the director uses extremely oppressive cool tones and gritty close-ups as a metaphor for the Roman Empire's seemingly powerful, yet inherently hollow core. Every time Clavius swings his butcher's blade, he is merely masking his inner fear of death and his deep yearning for stability and peace. After confirming Yeshua's passing, Joseph of Arimathea asks Clavius for the body, intending to bury him in his own family tomb.
The Sabbath is almost here. I have merely 2 hours. Please. It's yours.
Clavius looks at the cold corpse beside the cross, his soldier's intuition telling him trouble will return, and it will be trouble that neither he nor the governor can control. At night, Clavius and Governor Pilate converse in the baths. Pilate heavily trusts this composed officer, asking him what it is he seeks in life. Clavius calmly answers that he desires military merit and glory, but ultimately only wants a piece of land in the countryside, far from the slaughter of the battlefield, no longer facing death all day long, seeking only worldly stability and peaceful days. Pilate suddenly asks in return if the Nazarene has left a unique mark in his heart. Clavius responds with his usual icy demeanor.
I found him dead.
So you did?
Peace, Tribune, and good night.
However, the peaceful days do not arrive. The next day, the high priest Caiaphas meets with Pilate, claiming that Yeshua prophesied during his lifetime that he would resurrect in 3 days. To prevent the disciples from stealing the body, spreading resurrection rumors, and sparking an even larger civilian uprising, the Sanhedrin pleads with the governor to send soldiers to seal and guard the tomb. This assignment falls upon Clavius once again. He personally leads men to seal the tomb, rolls the massive stone over it, applies the official Roman seal, and heavily guards the perimeter.
No one touches those heels before sunset tomorrow, understood?
Just, we don't have the night off.
I'd have rations, sir.
I was saving it for supper, but
I thought the night was lost.
But after just one night, the tomb is bizarrely empty. The body vanished without a trace. Pilate is furious, rebuking the guards for dereliction of duty. The priests have already spread lies to the public, claiming that Yeshua's disciples stole the body late at night. To stop the situation from spiraling completely out of control, Pilate issues a strict order to Clavius. Before the corpse rots, he must find the body and put an end to all rumors. A blanket search sweeping the entirety of Jerusalem thus begins. Clavius digs up all recent graves in the city, enduring the stench of rotting corpses, inspecting every single body one by one, looking for the marks of crucifixion. Faced with the testimonies of the tomb guards, he sees right through their loophole-riddled lies at a glance.
We were attacked in the night while sleeping by the Nazarene Rabi disciples.
were you drinking that night?
No.
As the investigation deepens, he comes into contact with Yeshua's followers one after another. He interrogates a devout believer of Yeshua, who frankly states that even though Clavius is the executioner, the resurrected Yeshua would still treat him with tenderness. He also interrogates the pious female disciple, Mary Magdalene. Facing the threat of death, she shows no fear, only looking at him with a compassionate gaze, telling him,
"You look for something you'll never find, Tribune. You look for the wrong thing."
Clavius is lost in thought. After searching for a few days, there is no improvement in the situation, until Clavius arrests Bartholomew, one of the 12 apostles. Bartholomew has not a shred of fear. Instead, his face is brimming with an incomprehensible joy. He insists that he has seen the resurrected Yeshua with his own eyes, walking and talking with him. Clavius tries to use the extreme agony of crucifixion to break his will. Clavius tells Bartholomew that as long as he reveals where the rest of Yeshua's followers are, he will be free. Bartholomew whispers in Clavius's ear,
They're everywhere.
Faced with this faith that fears no death and uses only love as a weapon, Clavius feels an unprecedented sense of confusion. The true turning point happens when he interrogates that guard once again. Clavius finds the guard squandering money in a tavern. Under Clavius's coercion, the guard finally breaks down, spilling the truth that terrifies him to the point of sleepless nights. It was not a prison break by the disciples at all.
It's terrible. It's a terrible flash. The night was gone. The air smelled burned, and the ropes, they just exploded. And the stone flew like a leaf, and all of a sudden the sun rose in the tomb. It was the sun. It was everything. And then a figure appeared that I could not gaze upon because of the terrible light, and it wasn't a man. It wasn't.
The guards were so terrified they fled in panic. Later, it was High Priest Caiaphas who paid them to fabricate the lie about the disciples stealing the body. Listening to the guards' tearful confession, Clavius is shaken to his core. He is a Roman soldier who only believes in swords and order, but the clues before him are pushing him into an abyss he absolutely cannot explain with common sense. Holding on to his last stubborn shred of rationality, Clavius, following an informant's tip, leads his men to surround the hidden house where the disciples are gathered. He draws his short sword and kicks open that door all by himself. However, when Clavius's gaze cuts through the crowd and lands on the man right in the center of the room, he is instantly struck as if by lightning. It is the Nazarene. It is Yeshua, the very man he watched breathe his last, whose side was pierced by a spear. At that moment, the sword in Clavius's hand feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. He orders his soldiers to fall back and retreat.
Tribune! Stand down.
Tribune, so we are close. I don't need you for this. I don't need you.
Stand up!
He can no longer use the logic of arresting a criminal to deal with a man resurrected from the dead. He knows deep down that the Roman Empire he serves, the death and order he has firmly believed in his entire life, have been completely shattered at this very moment. He watches Yeshua sitting there alive in this moment, smiling and letting the disciples touch the nail marks on his hands and the wounds on his body.
We have nothing to fear.
Suddenly, Yeshua vanishes from before his eyes again. After Yeshua vanishes, the disciples decide to follow Yeshua's divine instruction and head to Galilee to see him. At night, Pilate personally leads troops to find Clavius, only to find a letter, a secret letter stating,
Do not seek me. Do not follow or wander. I pursue him, the Nazarene, to ferret the truth. It's his seal, sir.
He has made a decision that defies his past 30 years of life. He takes off his Roman military uniform and chooses to silently follow this group of disciples hunted by Rome, stepping onto the vast wilderness heading toward Galilee. In the wilderness, Lucius, the aide who once followed Clavius, tracks them all the way with his men. As the hoofbeats of the Roman pursuers approach, Clavius uses his familiarity with the terrain and the army to help the disciples evade the chasers. But they are still found by his aide, Lucius.
The Nazarene vanished. I believe it resides in these men. Gone.
At this moment, Clavius completely severs his ties with the past, transforming from a Roman executioner into a pilgrim seeking the truth. After a long and arduous journey, they finally arrive at the shores of the Sea of Galilee. The disciples are famished, and Peter suggests returning to their old trade of fishing. However, they cast their nets and toil on the lake all night, yet catch absolutely nothing. Just as the morning sun casts its light on the water's surface, a familiar figure appears on the shore.
Try the right side again.
When the net is pulled up again, the heavy net is filled to the brim with thrashing fish. Peter instantly recognizes the man on the shore. Disregarding everything, he jumps into the water and swims toward Yeshua. Yeshua prepares food for them and even heals a leper who was driven away by the crowd and had suffered endless torment. Clavius watches all of this from afar. Seeing the leper restored to normal after Yeshua's touch, his eyes no longer hold scrutiny and doubt, leaving only profound shock and reverence.
Brothers.
Night falls, dotted with stars. Clavius finally finds the courage to face Yeshua alone.
I don't even know what to ask. Speak your heart. When you died, I was present.
Yeshua looks calmly at the officer who once executed his death sentence, asking him, "What are you seeking, Clavius?" Clavius drops all his disguises and speaks his deepest desire: inner peace, a peaceful world, and to no longer face death every day. Yeshua smiles at him, a gaze that embraces everything. In that moment, for the first time, he experienced true inner peace and understood the meaning of gentleness, acceptance, and rebirth.
Wake up, brothers! Where's he gone? Joshua! Joshua! Brother!
In his final moments, Yeshua entrusts the disciples with their ultimate mission, commanding them to go all over the world to preach the gospel, be his witnesses, and promises to be with them always. Then, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Yeshua slowly ascends into the sky in radiant light until he disappears over the horizon. At the end of the story, Clavius sits in a shabby tavern and pays for his drink with the ring. The tavern keeper looked at the weather-beaten man and asked him if he truly believed in everything he had experienced. Clavius gazes into the distance. He slowly says, "I believe. I can never be the same." Looking at the entire film Risen, its most brilliant aspect is that it doesn't use high and mighty preaching to instill faith. Instead, it focuses the lens on a cold-blooded soldier whose hands are stained with blood and who only believes in what he can see. He searches for truth among piles of corpses, struggles amidst lies, and finally finds peace on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. We have all walked on the edge of a blade like Clavius, but when a miracle shatters common sense, do you dare to overturn your old beliefs to seek that truly peaceful soul? This masterpiece without flashy special effects is worth calming your mind to completely understand. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.